Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. I know we're not dead out there. You guys act like this is a funeral. Occasion for tonight. Before we even do our occasion, I'm one of those that I'm going to put things in perspective and I'm going to put it in the right place. So if you will, and if you don't mind, we're going to bow for a word of prayer real quick. Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, we come before you giving you praises, giving you thanks for all that you've done for us. But Father, we know that we're not here because we want to be here, and we're not here because of the things we've done so great. We are here because of your grace and your mercy, and we thank you for that, Father. We thank you and we praise your name to the utmost. Father, tonight we're going to ask that you be with both candidates here, that they come out and do the will that you ask them to do, Father. We ask that you lead them, protect them, and guide them. And as we leave this place, oh Father, we ask that you take everyone back home sound and safely. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen. Amen. For those of you who do not know, I am Michael Ransall, and I am the person that somebody over here asked to moderate this. And I know you may have seen in the paper or somewhere they said it's going to keep it under control. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, but I would try my best. Tonight's occasion, each and every one of you here have a vested interest of what goes on in your district. If you don't, you're wrong. We all should be concerned about what's going on in our city, not only in our city, in our state, and in our country. And that's why you're here tonight. And that's why you're here to see what they're going to have to offer you for your district. And I know each and every one of and both of the candidates that we have up here today, it's going to be a very vital candidate, vital council person, no matter who you pick. So District 2, I'm not in District 2. So District 2, please listen to what they have to say. And as I stated earlier, if you have any comments, if you have any questions that you need me to ask them throughout this session, please raise your hand. Someone will get you a piece of paper and a pen, and we'll ask the question. First of all, I would like to recognize our seating and our councilmen and our officials that are present today. I know I saw Mayor Shaw. There he is. We got Mayor Shaw here tonight. Councilman Tapley's here. Councilman Goss is here. Do we have any more officials out there? Oh, newly elected, Mr. Scott Hardy. So his term starts soon. So looking forward to see what you have to offer your District 3. Anyone else? Did I miss any current officials, city officials? Okay, but welcome. Thank you for coming out tonight. Rules of this engagement here. You guys know I'm a military guy, so I'll use those military terms. Is it me? Rules of engagement here. We've already flipped, and the person that has won the toss, whether he or she chose to go first, I don't even know who won. Miss Audrey Colvin won the toss, so she would be going first. She would go first. She deferred. Yeah, you throw some wrestling terms out there for me now. So you deferred. You take the second period, right? Okay. All right, so she deferred. Mr. Meacham will be going first. And at the end, we'll do the reverse of that. And in closing, Miss Audrey will be going, Audrey Colvin will be going first in her closing statement, and Mr. Meacham will be going last. After a question is asked, each candidate will have 3 minutes to talk about that question or answer that question. If at any time if they mention their opponent in that question, their opponent has 3 minutes to rebuttal that question or that comment that was made in that question. So those are our rules of engagement. Everyone understand? Only question that will be asked is from me, unless the only way you can ask a question is by what? Thank you. By writing it down, sending it up here, and we will answer your question. Are we ready to start? If we are, I'm not going to sit up here and try to tell your bios. I'm not going to sit up here and try to tell everyone in your district about you. So this first 3 minutes, we'd like for you to do that. Give us your background. Tell us where you're from. Tell us a little bit about yourself. And let the people know you. We want them, if they haven't heard you speak prior to tonight, we want them to feel comfortable with going in there and pulling your name down and voting for you. So, Mr. Meacham, You'll be the first up.
Should I? No. Hello. Okay, guys. Well, thank you guys, obviously, first for hosting us here tonight. To my family and friends in the audience, thank y'all for coming, and for everyone else as well, thank y'all for coming and participating. Trying to learn a little bit more about Buffy and I as candidates for District 2 City Council. I was born in Alexander City in 1986. I'm 30 years old. I graduated from Benjamin Russell High School in 2004, so I'm a product of the Alexander City school system. I graduated from Benjamin Russell High School in 2004. I was a recipient of the Gateway Scholarship. So I spent a year at CACC. If you guys don't know much about the Gateway Scholarship, it's one of the fabulous recruitment and workforce development tools in our area. It provides free education for students that graduate from Benjamin Russell High School with just a minimum of requirements for grade point average. But I took advantage of that scholarship at the CACC for a year, transferred to the University of Alabama. Spent the next 10 years, roughly, at Alabama. Not all those in school, so it didn't take me 10 years to graduate. But I graduated from college about 2010, and I started working for the University of Alabama shortly after that in the office of admissions, the admissions office, student recruitment, recruiting students. I specialize in running our campus tour operation, traveling around the United States, recruiting students to the University of Alabama, selling and education to students from all over the country. So that was a very enlightening time of my first really professional job, getting to travel, getting to interact with diverse groups of people from all around the United States, getting to promote higher education, something that I believe in the core of me. So I returned to Alexander City about a year ago. Always wanted to come back home. Of course, being raised in Alexander City and having family and friends here, it held a very special place in my heart. So I always wanted the opportunity to come back home and make an impact, really do special things, and work for our city and make it a great place for us all to live. Looking in from the outside, you see tremendous opportunity in Alexander City, and that was something that was very clear to me from afar. How much opportunity there is here in Alexander City, and how little was being done to capitalize on that opportunity. So when the opportunity did come for me to come back to Alexander City, it was a job in the Chamber of Commerce. I was Vice President of Business Development. That's the job that I moved back home for and took. My job allows me to try to recruit new business to Alexander City. Yes. 3 minutes is up. 3 minutes is up? Sorry about that, guys.
It's all your call.
Good evening. I'm Buffy, and I'm running for City Council District 2. I am born and bred here in Alexander City, actually born in District 2 on Old Kellerton Road at my grandmother's house in 1967. I am the oldest daughter, the oldest child, only daughter of my mom, Mavis Colvin, and my dad, Sandy Colvin, who was deceased when I was 9 years old. So I've been actually here toiling in LA City for a long time. I actually went to college at Talia College when I graduated from Benjamin Russell in 1985. I actually gained a presidential scholarship from Talia College, which was a free ride for me to get an education. That was the only way I could get an education, because my mom could not afford to send me to school with another child at home, or actually 2 children at home at that time. Anyway, I graduated from Talia in 1989, and after that I moved to Atlanta, or New York first, then Atlanta. Ended up having to come back home because my mom got sick and needed to be taken care of at home, and I had a little brother who is 18 years younger than I am. So being the oldest and only girl, I was the one who had to come home and take care of them, and I did. My initial goal was to come home, go back to Georgia, get her better, go back to Georgia, and live my life there, but circumstances beyond my control, or surgery did not go like it was supposed to, she ended up having to stay in the hospital longer. So when I came home, my mom had to learn how to walk and talk all over again. So I was mainly the mom for a while. Working at Russell Medical Center in the respiratory therapy department was my summer job when I was in school. So I ended up back out there in 1990. Supposed to have been part-time, but it didn't go that way. I've been out there ever since. So for the past 25 years, I've been at Russell Medical Center. I am a respiratory therapist, and I'm there usually Monday through Friday for 8 hours, sometimes 10, sometimes 12. I'm running for city council because I believe that LA City has a lot of potential. I believe there are many opportunities out there that we can do better, and I'm hoping that the people in District 2 will choose me to do that for them. I'm not running on any type of agenda or anything like that. I can't make any promises because I have only one vote. I'm only running to make sure that I stand up for the people that are in District 2. Thank you.
Thank you both for that. Our next two questions, I think both of you have already hit on it. And I know that's just, 4 years ago I was doing the same thing you were doing. And I know that's the most common thing you want to do. You want to tell people why you're running. But so I'm going to combine your next two questions. First, why are you running and why District 2? What is it that makes you want to represent District 2? Ms. Audrey?
I'm running, as I said, because I just want to represent District 2. I feel that there are opportunities out there for us to do more in our community. I am a community person. I've always been involved. I'm very civic-minded. I'm on this and that, a lot of different committees, and I try to do all I can for everybody. I ran in District 2 because I live in District 2. I've never had the opportunity to board and run because there was either somebody sitting in the seat that I would not run against. But this time there came an opportunity that I had the chance to say, okay, I need to do this. I was led to run because my dear friend, Thomas Tutu Margaret, who happens to be my mom's classmate, just kept telling me, Buffy, you need to run, you'd be great at city council. And I was like, I don't think that's me. I don't see that as being me. Then the next thing I knew, I had people coming to me saying, you know, you really need to think about this. You would be a great person because you're a people person and you're there. You're already doing these things. You just need to be out there in front so you can do more for us. So that's what led me to run. My cousin told me, hey, we need people in the city who know the city, who can come and do what they need to do to make sure that District 2 is well taken care of. So that's why I am running for District 2. I think that we can do a lot more work at gaining businesses, a lot more work at building up District 2. We need to make sure that we're putting things in places for our kids in District 2 so they can continue to thrive. That is mainly why I'm running. My main focus is on children and what they're going to do with their lives so they can bring whatever they learn, their education back to the city. We need them. We need them as teachers. We need them as police officers. But we've got to grow them and keep them positive and move in the right direction. And I think that's what we need to start with first and then move on. District 2 needs a lot of help. As I see it, we need a lot of help in making sure that our children are getting all that they can out of our city. So that's why I'm running for District 2. Thank you.
Mr. Meacham.
Well, to answer the first part of that question, I'm running in District 2. Why District 2? Obviously, that's where I live. When we moved back to Alexander City, we were looking for lots of different neighborhoods, and we wanted to be in an area that was, close to town, close to work, a lot of potential in downtown Alexander City, where District 2, lots of those parts of District 2 reside. It's very close to work, it's close to where my son goes to daycare, it's close to where he's going to grow up going to school. It's just a great neighborhood overall. I love living in the heart of Alexander City, which is what I call District 2. So that's why District 2, you don't get to pick where you run for city council, it's just where you live. So that's my neighborhood, that's why I'm running for District 2. While I'm running for city council, as I touched on a little bit in my introduction, I want to help make a positive impact in Alexandria City, and I want to see our town reach the potential that we all know is very, very clear. I've got a laundry list of reasons why, but the essential reason is because I want to make a difference, and I feel like the position that I'm in, fortunately from my job, allows me to be on the inside of some things that are very critical to progress of the city, whether it's workforce and education initiatives that I lead to the chamber, that we lead to the chamber, business development of our existing businesses in Alexandria City, or business recruitment of new business in Alexandria City. When you talk about business development, you can't just focus on bringing in outsiders constantly, because 80% of new jobs created are from your existing business. So you have to take care of the ones that are here, the ones that have been invested in your community for a long time. And also, building new leaders in Alexandria City is, I think, another reason why I'm very fit for the job. We need new leadership. We need new vision. We need new ideas. We need new perspective. I think it's very clear that we've been doing the same things the same way for a very long time. And now is the time for change in Alexandria City, and I'm representative of that change. So essentially, that's it in a nutshell.
Okay. Well, I'd like to ask you kind of a twofold question. What makes you qualified to be a good council person for District 2? And tell me a little bit about the skills that you would bring to that position if you're elected.
Either one. Go ahead. Since we went out of order the last time.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
So what makes you a good candidate and the skills that you bring to the table?
Why do you feel like you're qualified, and what are some of the skills that you want?
Well, qualifications, I think, for city council, could be numerous. I'll start with my education. I received 2 majors at the University of Alabama, one in political science and one in public relations. So obviously political science being, understanding how governments work, how a local municipality is supposed to work. I received an education in that. Public relations was also another one of my majors at the university. I put that into practice, not only as a student and working for the University of Alabama's athletic department, promoting one of the top collegiate athletic departments in the whole United States, but also at my time at the university recruiting students from all around the United States to the university and being one of the first faces that you see when you step on campus. So from the PR side and the political side, I think those are 2 very good skills to bring to the table. That's just from an education and kind of early professional experience. Here in Alexandria City, I've already touched on a little bit about what I do. Leading initiatives at the chamber with my job. The Young Entrepreneurs Academy is one that's been a lot of fun and very dear to me, providing opportunities for local middle and high school students from all around the area to learn about business, be introduced to key leaders in our area, make connections, not just learn about business, but actually get the chance to start a business and connecting these students with investors that can help them launch a business. I've already touched on a little bit about what we do on the business recruitment side, but also trying to make Alexandria City a business-friendly place and a place that's known for having their doors open for business. I think there's no hiding the negative publicity that we've been a part of recently. So having someone who understands the communication side of things and also the ways that how a negative PR can affect your overall goals and mission of an organization. I think that's very important. Overall, I can just get along with a lot of different people, diverse backgrounds. I've always had a very good way of getting along, understanding different perspectives, different ideas, being confident in what I'm doing, and also understanding that you're not always right and you have to listen to different ideas and different perspectives in order to reach a common goal and understand really what it is that we're working towards, so that you don't just always assume that you're right. Other skills, I think I've touched on just about as many as I can think of standing here. Is 3 minutes up?
It's 20 seconds.
Okay, well, I'll just let it ride.
you repeat that question?
Sure. What makes you qualified to be a good council person? What makes you qualified to be a good council person for District 2, and what special skills do you bring to the position should you be elected?
Thank you. First of all, I'm going to say this because I said to somebody else. Qualifications for running for city council are very minimal. You have to be 18 years of age, you have to be a registered voter, and you have to live in the district. That's it. So I meet those qualifications. I am registered 18, I live in District 2, and I am a registered voter since I was 16, I'm 18. But anyway, that's so those qualifications, Jacob and I both meet those with no problem. My skill set that I have is I am a communicator. I can communicate with anybody at any time, and my job at Wilson Medical Center is a testament to that. I also have a degree in computer science with an emphasis on accounting. So I'm an analytical person. I know how to sit back, listen, and comprehend first, and I am a reader. I read before I do anything. You can't just give it to me and tell me to do it. I've got to read it from the front to the back. That includes if I get a new toy at home, I have to read the manual. So I'm going to read and know what I'm doing before I do anything. And that's how I operate my life. I treat everybody I meet the way I want to be treated. I'm not going to mistreat anybody because I don't want to be mistreated. That's how I live my life every day. That's how I handle my life. That's who Buffy is. That's what I think I bring to the table. A person who can communicate with anybody in any situation. A person who is willing to listen to what you have to say and make sure we can come together and get what you want done, solved. And if there is not a way to solve it, be woman enough to go back to you and say, hey, we can't pave your road today because we've used a system that says we cannot. And this is why we use this system. So I'm able to do those things. And I'm going to read, they can't give me anything and think I'm going to side with someone because they're my friends or I like them or that's going to be good for them. I'm going to be looking at making decisions that are going to be right for District 2. That's all I'm going to be focused on as City Council. If I am chosen, that will be my goal, making sure that I look at that and make sure everything that comes across is correct and in the best interest of District 2. Thank you.
While you're up, while you've been on the campaign trail, you talked to a lot of people. What would you say some of the top 3 or 5 issues were that people have expressed to you? And to follow that up, have any of your positions changed after talking to the people in your community?
First of all, you know, you live in the city. The first thing everybody talks about is the road. They've been paid in 30 years. Everybody has a question about roads, when they're going to be paid, when they're going to get paid. You're going to work on getting my road paid. That's the first issue that I've encountered. The second issue I've had is a lot of people in District 2 want to know if we can bring more events, more things to Cooper. And it's like I tell them all the time, you can't have an event if you're not showing up, and that's one of our problems in our district if we don't show up. So we've got to find ways to be innovative and make sure people are engaged. I think that's one of the problems. And the other issue is making sure that we're getting our children something to do in the community. Those are the 3 main things I've come across from listening to citizens that are I've talked to while I've been out on the campaign trail. My thoughts about it has not changed. Roads for me has never been an issue. I feel like if I see a pothole and it needs to be fixed, okay, let's fix that pothole and I'm good with that. But I am very geared toward making sure we have events or maybe we need spelling bees or math bees here. Our children are lacking. When you look at other districts and the children in District 2, our children are not on the same level as some of the other districts, and we need to make sure that we're bringing those children up and getting them where they need to be. That's one of my focuses, and that still is one of my focuses. Also, I would like to get more parents and adults engaged from District 2. That's been one of my issues. Like I said, the reason why you can't put on a lot of programs or do a lot of things, if people are not attending, then you don't have a reason to do that. So hopefully, with us getting out there, saying things and doing things, we're gonna get people involved and make them more involved. That's one of the major problems in my community is we're not involved. We need to be involved. You can't complain about anything that's going on in city government if you're not there looking at what's going on. And we need to be more involved. So that's my goal, is to try to get everybody involved and doing more so they understand what's going on and why. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Meacham?
Well, I think it would be pretty tough to narrow it down to 3 or 5. When you knock on as many doors as we probably have, you get a lot of them. But the things that you hear most are, my road hasn't been paved, my street light doesn't work, the sidewalk has grass growing over it. We actually do have a sidewalk, but there's grass growing over it. We can't walk on it. We can't push our stroller down the road, or just general neglect from years of not taking care of it. Better jobs, that's always a huge one that we hear. We've got, an employment base that was devastated by Russell leaving town 15 years ago or whatever it was. While those jobs have been replaced, maybe numbers-wise, you might say they lost 7,000 jobs, we recouped 5,000 or whatever the number might be. The quality of jobs has not. So while we have all new jobs, they're not the kind of jobs that were here when Russell was here. We have everything from entry-level jobs to the president of the company and everything in between. So we have to be careful about how we prove the industry and business when we go out. What are we getting versus what are we getting in return? I think that's been a big issue that people have let me know about. I touched on the roads, which is the kind of the overall infrastructure, what we'll call roads, sidewalks, streetlights, just the general condition of neighborhoods in our city. District 2, right on, not only District 2, but many neighborhoods in Alexandria City. Neighborhoods that historically have been very nice, have been neglected. We have rundown rental properties all over town. That there's codes that aren't being enforced. We've got landlords who aren't taking care of their properties, who are just letting their properties be run into the ground and not taken care of, which is just driving the cost of property down for people that do. So that's a huge thing. The condition of some of our neighborhoods, that has to do with safety. I mean, none of this other stuff that we're talking about matters whatsoever if people don't feel like they're safe. And so when you talk about what people really need out of their city, it's very simple. It's providing basic services that we all pay for through taxes: police, fire, roads, water, sewer, things like that. We've got a sewer that's been, in disrepair for a long, long time now that we're going to have to invest heavily in to get it back up to functioning level. But people aren't going to see that. That's underground. That's out of sight, out of mind. It's not a nice new road being paved, but it's something that has to be done. It's something that we have to invest in. So, Parks and Rec, we touched on things for our kids. Obviously, that's important. Investing in Parks and Rec all over town to make sure the students have access, not students, but kids, students have access to things to do after school, things to do on the weekend. I think that can be supplemented with recruitment of retail into our area to make sure that there's fun, entertaining places to go, spend time and shop.
Thank you, sir.
While you're up.
Yeah, take a deep breath. Maybe some water?
Everybody talks about vision for what to do. Y'all found out a lot of things that you'd like to see. Money wasn't an object. What is your vision for District 2?
If money were not an object, my vision for District 2 would be the redevelopment of, first I'd get every road in District 2 clean. I'd build a beautiful new recreation center for our kids and people to enjoy. I would develop industrial parks and retail parks all along District 2 for people to have places to go and shop and jobs. And if money were an object, there would be a problem. So that's a very tough question to isolate and pinpoint one thing, but just name it, we do.
But you threw out ideas, so prioritize them. What do you think is first?
Oh, well, I don't know. What I do when I go out and try to recruit retail to Alexandria City That's something that people always say, we need places to shop, we need places to eat. But when we go out and actually talk with developers and retailers and people who make these decisions, they say, well, we like Alexander City, it's a nice community, it's got a beautiful lake, good people, but you don't have any good jobs. We're not going to bring our business here because you don't have the kind of money that it takes to go out and eat in our restaurant, shop in our store. So in terms of priority, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? When you talk about industry and business, those are really the things that are going to pump money into your economy. Good jobs for people to have to go out and spend money because our number one form of revenue generation in our city is sales tax. Our sales tax is 10%, so we obviously see how critical retail base is to our community, so why not go out and try to develop that? But it's not that simple. Go out and talk to retailers, they want better industry. Go out and talk to industry, they want, well, where am I going to go shop? Where are my kids going to go to school? Are there fun things for us to do? So, all those things I think factor into the big picture. That's why we have organizations like the Chamber of Commerce where I work. We focus on retail development. That's why we have organizations like the Lake Martin Economic Development Alliance, and they focus on industrial development, industrial improvement. So the city kind of serves as kind of like the hub. You have different spokes coming off of the hub. Those other organizations supplement what the city does. The Chamber, the EDA, Main Street, our schools, our healthcare, all of that factors in. And really, it's successful depending on what the city is doing and how strong the leadership and vision is at the city level. So I think as far as behind companies, all those other things that I talked about are very examples. We have a group that's in there who has a vision for the city and who knows what it takes to get there. Have a vision for the road and who knows how to get there. So I think on day one, the city council sits down with the mayor and says, this is where we want our city to be in 10 years. This is how we're going to get there, and back out from there. Here's the ways we're going to do it. Here's the incentive packages we're going to offer to the industry. Here's the incentive packages we're going to offer to retail. Here's how we're going to supplement our school system to make sure our kids have education and that the industry that we're going through is a good workforce.
That's a big question. If money was not an object. If money was not an object, of course, I would have major incentives in place for big businesses to come in and maybe we can recruit those salaries we had or salaries that are better than what we have now in the city. Of course, I'm a larger size individual, and of course, we need retail in LA City. That's one of my major problems. I have to talk about it sometimes. Because there are only a few stores that cater to plus size women. I don't like to look like everybody else that's in my size range. So we need more retail that caters to people of different sizes for me. Of course, I would also make sure that the rec center or this rec center or another rec center is the best in the city. Our children need something to do. The reason why we have so many of them going into getting into bad situations or into trouble is they don't have anything to do. If you're only hanging out on the streets all the time and you don't have anywhere to go, then that becomes a problem. We need to start doing that. If we did get better jobs here, if we did get more retail here, then those kids, you start to build those kids up into thinking they can do more and be better, then that actually cuts down on your crime rate. That makes it easier for your police officers to take care of you. So that's a huge question about money is not an object. Of course, I paid everybody for starting with my friends on North Central, they want a sidewalk. They've been petitioning for a sidewalk for 20 years. I give them a sidewalk and fix their road, so they wouldn't have to keep worrying about that. So, with money was not an object, this would be the best place in the world. We could call it utopia instead of LA City, because I can do it all I could to make it work. Thank you.
Might as well hang out, just a second. What, at this point, you haven't really had an opportunity, either one of you, to know what some of the specifics are as far as government issues, but what would be some of the pet projects that you might want to try and get involved in if you were elected?
I think, pet projects for me would be City Parks and Recreation. If you don't know, children are near and dear to my heart if you don't know it by now. But of course, that's one of my pet projects. I would love to be involved with Sonny, Mike, and the guys trying to make sure that we're doing great things for our kids. One of the major things I would like to see happen in our city council is our city council and our mayor, whoever it may be, get together and have, maybe they need a retreat every 2 months or 3 months, so we build a relationship that's more like a family instead of us always being at each other or whatever. So maybe that's what we need, some type of retreat or something where we have team building exercises. I'm from Russell Medical Center, and we believe in the team concept. So that's exactly what I want the city council to be. We should be a team. We should be working hard with each other, not against each other. So I really want that to be a major overall for us to make it a great city council that I think it should be, along with our mayor. Also, another pet project of mine would be doing some type of health initiatives. Of course, I'm from Russell Medical Center again, or Russell Medical, our new name. But health initiatives in District 2, we are, like I said, we're behind other districts or other people, and we need more health initiatives. We need more things pushing us to take care of ourselves and do better. Those things will make us viable later on. Of course, I'd be geared toward trying to do all I can to pull new industries into Alexander City. So, I mean, I'm just really ready to get out there and do anything I can for Alexander City and the citizens of District 2.
Thank you.
Mr. Meacham?
Could you repeat the question? If elected, what would some of your pet projects or what would some of your chief concerns be?
Pet projects, I don't know if the mic's on, here we go. Pet projects, I think something that we really haven't touched on yet, that I think is a glaring issue in our city is the old Russell complex. I know it's been talked about at length in various talks around the city or forums, or whether it be the council or the mayor or the chamber quarterly luncheon, whatever it might be, it's been talked about a lot. But what I haven't seen, what I haven't heard is a legitimate plan for getting it done. I know the person who's got the building demolished is a private landowner, and I know the city can't do anything about it. But I don't think we should take that for an answer. No should not be an answer. We should work as hard as we can to figure out a way to work with this person to get it done. We have people traveling through our community, 30,000 cars a day on Highway 280. One of the first things they see is that. What does that say about Alexander City? What does that say about where we see our future going? What does that say about the kind of city we want to be? We want to be a city that looks like a war zone. It looks like a storm road that wasn't cleaned up. I don't want to be that city. I don't think anybody here wants to be that city. So there needs to be some kind of understanding of what it's going to take to get it cleaned up. Whether it's putting pressure on the landowner, whether it's bringing developers to the table and say, I'm going to buy this property once you have it cleaned up, and here's what I'll pay for it. There's an incentive to go ahead and get it cleaned up. I know there's been some talk about things like that, but that would be a good project. Really trying to understand what it's going to take to get it done and make it happen. Another thing I touched on was the residential communities in Alexander City that have deteriorated. You drive around neighborhoods all over town, not just District 2, District 1 through 6, and we've got neighborhoods that are being run around by rental properties, basically landlords who don't take care of their property. I'd like to see a rental ordinance put into place, or either a code enforcement officer who is going to go around and make sure that our neighborhoods are kept clean and safe, because, as I touched on a minute ago, if they're not clean and safe, what else matters? If we can't safely walk down the street, why are we going to sit out and go walk in the store if we don't feel safe going there? So how would we buy property in this neighborhood if 2 houses down, it looks like it should be burned down? Those are things that we can really do, those are things that we can correct. So those would be a couple of pet projects of mine. Obviously, the recruitment of retail and industry to town, something that I work on a lot. Just by the nature of my job, that would kind of be a pet project, if you want to call it that. So that's a few.
Thank you. Hold on, Mr. Meacham.
Both of you kind of touched on this building here, Cooper Rec, and some of the things that you would like to see it come. And both of you touched a little bit on the fact of getting people involved. How, since we're not talking about without money being a concern, how can we make this more? How can we make this building better? And how can we make it a more integral part of Alex City, not just this community? How can we do that?
I think if you want to make it a place for all of Alexander City, you got to have some things here that are, it's the only place in Alex City where they exist. So maybe in terms of how to improve that and how to pump the kind of capital needed into it, I think it starts with cleaning up our financial picture. There's some things that we need to invest in heavily in Alexander City. We touched on a few of those, infrastructure being one, Parks and Rec being another, and that's what we're talking about now. I think there's money out there. I think we generate enough through our sales tax, through our utilities, through our property tax, ways that we have revenue coming into our city. I think there's enough so that if it's properly managed, we can improve facilities like the Cooper Rec Center. We can add features to the Cooper Rec Center that make it unique to Alexander City so that people over in District 5 or 6 or 4 aren't staying in those districts and going to those parks and rec facilities, but maybe they're coming to Cooper Rec because something exists here that doesn't exist in District 4, 5, 6, 1, or 3. So we got to make District 2 unique. We got to add something to Cooper Rec that doesn't exist in those other places. And as I mentioned, ways to do that, you got to have an accurate picture of what our financial situation is. We get somebody in there who really can dig down deep, find where the money is, if the money's missing, figure out where it's going, clean it up, make sure that it's being allocated properly all the time. I think we have the revenue, as I mentioned now. I can't sit here and go into specifics because, I mean, honestly, I don't know all the specifics. I think anybody trying to do that before they actually get a clear picture of it, would just be unwise to do so. But I think when we get a real good grasp on where we are, the revenue coming into the city is enough to be able to invest and make Cooper Rec Center and others like that very special to our city.
Turn it back on. Turn it back on. Yeah, you get my phone.
You. Yeah, just you. Okay.
As first of all, Cooper Rec Center is near and dear to my heart. First of all, I just stay right there on the corner, so I love Cooper Rec Center. I come out here, I volunteer my time at Cooper Rec Center. If Mike needs me to do anything, he asks me, I do it. I put my nephew in anything that Cooper Rec has going on. So Cooper is near and dear to me, not only for that, but I was raised up at Cooper Rec Center. One of the things I think that we need at Cooper Rec is we have not had a serious upgrade in like ever. I'm pretty sure our bathrooms are not up to par for handicap accessibility. I'm pretty sure I know we need different, when you do have a softball team or a baseball team or a basketball team, you need supplies. We end up and we don't get the same thing as other people. So we need to make sure we're on an even level, first of all. Then after that, we have to start showing that things are here and available. One of my parents said to me, hey, can we start having a math thing? Well, that's something different. When I came along, we had 2 rec centers in Alexander City. We had the Cooper Rec and we had Bailey. So Bailey went away. Cooper Rec should have became the place for all of our children to come and learn how to interact with each other, how to be a part. Some kind of way it got lost in the shuffle and it became just this community rec center. It's not. This is Alexander City Cooper Rec Center. We need to make sure that we are putting it out there. We need to make sure we upgrade the bleachers. We need to make sure the bathrooms are accessible. We need to make sure we have staff here who's able to take care of us when we are here. All those things come into play. If more people start using it outside of the people in this community, and it's well used by the community, and I know that because I can come home on any given day and the parking lot is full. So since Mike has been here, it is used tremendously on a regular basis. Every Saturday, Sunday, you've got the gym in and out and game room. We do have a computer lab up and running now, thanks to Commissioner Coley. The playground in the back has been upgraded, thanks to Commissioner Coley. But the city needs to start putting forth an effort and putting something back into Cooper Rec. We're bringing in money because we're renting the building. Some of that needs to come back to Cooper Rec. We do need improvements. That's some of our problems is we don't improve on it. So it's not gonna go the way, people are not gonna come. If my mom can't get in that bathroom, then I can't bring her over here with her one-legged walk because we can't even get in the bathroom. So those things are necessities in any building, and those things need to be looked at, and we need to figure out how we can improve those things, and then maybe we can build it up to be Cooper Rec, Alexander City's rec center. Not only the people in this community, but Alexander City's rec center. Thank you.
Our
Yeah.
que-
Tell me this one.
Our question from the floor, and understand that you're only one vote on the council. If elected to the city council, how will you play a part in attracting industries? And second part to that question is, what role will the tax-based education system and law enforcement play in that? Role.
First of all, if elected to city council, I think my goal would be making sure people see a city council that is diverse, a city council that is welcoming, a city council that's willing to work with you to make sure we get that business in here, first of all. Second of all, I think law enforcement is very important in any city. We are living in a time when people are doing anything and everything, and you have to have great law enforcement in place to take care of that. And also our education system, that's what's gonna draw people. You're not gonna bring your business here if your education is subpar. You gotta build your education so that you have an education system that says we're graduating children who are going on and doing more things. We're maintaining our children in school. We don't have a high dropout rate. So education is very important in not only obtaining new businesses, but maintaining new businesses. Also, like I said, law enforcement is very important. We need to make sure that they always have what they need. Because for me, I have no problem with the police because I don't do anything wrong. But anybody that's doing something wrong, they should have a problem with the police. So we need them policing and taking care of us in all situations. So those two will be very important. If you can show that your crime rate is less, if you can show that you're doing things in your community to make sure your crime rate stays low by giving your children something to do, then those things will help you gain new businesses. Thank you.
Mr. Meacham?
All right, I'm gonna need that one repeated, that's been a while.
All right, no problem.
Sounded pretty long.
No problem. If elected to the city council, how will you play a part in attracting industries? And what role will the tax-based education system and law enforcement play in that?
What role would the tax base, the education system?
Tax-based educational system.
What role would the tax-based educational system and
Uh-huh.
law enforcement play in it?
Yes.
Okay, well, if I'm fortunate enough to serve on the city council, I will do what the city council is supposed to do for business and industrial improvement. That's put together smart, sound incentive packages to be able to attract business to the area. But I don't think it stops with just attracting new, as I touched on earlier. We need to do something for people here who are investing in our community for a long time, small businesses that are looking to grow. We need to not invest so heavily in outsiders, but really look to within and see what we can do for the little guy. What can we do for small business owners in Alexander City who are looking to grow? That needs to be part of what the city council can figure out. As far as law enforcement, obviously it starts by having a safe environment that we can all call home. Something that we feel safe coming home to, leaving for hours on end at home, and knowing that there's not going to be something fishy going on while we're away. Somebody's not going to steal our property. So if you look at a location that you're going to move to, and you've got a high crime rate, of course that's going to be one of the attracting factors that's going to make you consider something else. The educational system tax base,
It's a tax-based educational system.
how does that play into industrial recruitment, industrial development, attracting industry.
How does it play, what role does it play?
Well, I'm not sure that I understand what the tax-based educational system and industrial development or recruitment, how that really intertwines, but how education plays into industrial development and recruitment is pretty simple. You've got to have a skilled workforce to go out and say, hey, these are the kind of workers we have in Alexander City. Here's how they can help your business succeed. We've got Central Alabama Community College that trains in industrial electronics, robotics, welding, machining, nursing. It's also a great place to go and launch a 4-year academic career. So if we can show that we're educating a workforce, a skilled workforce, that's going to allow us to go out to these industries and say, hey, these are the kind of workers we have here in Alexander City. Also, our public education system, high schools, middle schools, they play a huge role in that as well, in making sure that those students are prepared for the workforce. Not always college, but not everybody needs to go to college. What do they do to let the students know about the opportunities that exist here in Alexander City that await them once they finish school? Here's a 2-year degree you can go get at CACC, and you don't have to go and spend all this money on a 4-year college degree. You can go get this for free at CAT, paid for by the Gateway Scholarship. Taking advantage of our co-op opportunities through high school, so the students are getting quality experience all the way through. They're not starting from scratch once they get to college. They've got something they can base what they're going to study in off of some experience they've had before it gets time to pick a major. So I know that's very long and kind of complex, but that's kind of my short answer to it.
You get the next question.
All right.
You touched on this a couple of times, I think Buffy did as well. Obviously, in the last forum that we had, everyone knows that finances are a big issue right now. We'll have a story tomorrow that will report we've already spent $160,000 this year through June on outside accounting firms. As the mayor pointed out at the last meeting, we've got to do that. You're facing a real possibility of possibly $400,000 to get this mess. That's not a technical term, but this situation addressed. When you come in, you may not even have an operating budget to do that. With all that in mind, and I know that it's hard to sort through from the outside looking in, but how can we avoid this happening again?
I think it might sound like I'm simplifying it, but I think it's a pretty simple answer. You get qualified people in there, you know the kind of persons you're getting on the front end, and you let them do their job. You give them the tools that they need to do their job, you get out of the way, and let them do it. You hold them accountable when they mess up, like they have, apparently, or like someone else, like it's been reported that there have been mistakes made. But, mistakes might happen, but, let them know what the expectations are. Here's what I expect of you. Here's what we expect of you as the city council. We know what we expect of the city council. We know what we need to expect of the finance director. Here's what it's going to take. And if they start messing up, you got to make tough decisions. If that involves getting somebody and getting someone else, and that's just what it's going to take. But finances is the most important issue because it's the hot issue right now. Communication, I think, is a big thing. Having someone, the city council hiring a finance director, that person works hand in hand with the mayor. The mayor runs the city day to day. All employees report to the mayor, department heads, et cetera, et cetera. The city council is responsible for a select few employees. That's the finance director, the city clerk, police chief, fire chief, maybe 1 or 2 others. So it's very critical that although the city council is hiring a finance director, that the mayor is an active part in that process so that they have a good working relationship, because that's going to be the person they're interacting with on a daily basis, implementing the budget, communicating with the department heads on their needs for revisions or additions to a budget, requests throughout the year for more money, new equipment, what have you. So I think the relationship is very critical, and I think that starts with the hiring process. Making sure that you're not hiring someone just because they're your cousin's friend or they were recommended by somebody you know, but you put together a group of people who know what the finance director position should look like, the qualifications you're seeking. You go out and find that person, and you don't don't let your local biases factor into that whatsoever.
Okay. Ms. Colvin?
I feel the same way that Jacob does about that. If you are going to hire somebody to be the finance director or whatever you're going to hire that person to do, there has to be accountability. If they are not accountable, then we need to do the things we need to do to make sure that we say, hey, this is our warning. If you're not accountable, then if you're not going to do this, then we need to figure out what's wrong. A lot of times, from the outside looking in, it looks like to me, and somewhere along the way, we dropped the ball in these situations. I'm not sure from which end, I'm not sure where, but we need to make sure not only finance director, mayor, the city council, we need to hold the people who are in charge of these situations accountable for what's going on in our neighborhoods. We need to make sure, like Jacob, that we're getting people that are qualified and not somebody's sister, brother, cousin, or friend. We need to make sure that you have a set job description in place. You use that job description to hire the person that fits that job description. And make sure you get the people in place you need. Anybody who is taking care of your money needs to be accountable. So I feel the same way. I don't know of any other way to do it than to say that if you have a position within the city, you should be held accountable. If you do your job where I'm at, if I'm not held accountable for my actions, then what job am I doing? So I don't know any other way to say that than to that, and I don't know the particulars as to what's going on, who's done what or said what. I can only say that if you're mentioned up, you need to be held accountable. That's my take on it. Thanks.
While you're there, you both offered a great segue into my next question.
Okay.
City council is responsible for hiring 5 pretty key positions, like you mentioned, city clerk, fire chief, police chief, finance director, those sorts of things. How, when you be new, if you're elected, you'll have almost instantly have to do an evaluation of what you have, and then turn your attention on, is this the person you want to stay with or go to? Talk about, not necessarily the people who are there now, because that might not be fair, but the thought process that you would go through as you evaluate those people and then make your decision for what's best for the people represented.
My thought process for that would be looking at the job description to start off with. I don't know what the finance director should be doing right now, so I won't know that till I read that job description. When I read that job description, if she has not been doing that thing for Eve or whoever, then we need to figure out how to get people in that qualify. The job description for me is the roadmap. I mean, that's what I'm used to. If you go to apply for a job, you get a job description, and they say, this is what you're supposed to do. If you're not doing A, B, C, D, then you're not doing your job. So therefore, you don't need to do it. We need to look at the qualifications for the job. If you don't have the qualifications for that job, then you should not be hired for it. Those things are all going to come into play for all of those fire chief, the police chief, the city clerk, our finance director. All those things come into play for those. And for me, I will not be making a decision on a finance director if I'm elected until I know exactly what's going on. You can't make a decision if you don't know what the problem is first. So I wouldn't be trying to make a decision about anybody that's there without knowing whether they've done or not done their job, had what they need to do that job. I would never do that to anybody because I wouldn't want anybody to come to me. And as I said, I treat everybody I meet the way I want to be treated. So I think that first we need to figure out what is being done or has been done. And if those job descriptions are not being fulfilled, then we need to replace those people. Thank you.
So the thought process in hiring these
Evaluating
positions,
and hiring those positions.
Well, I agree too that, making those decisions first really probably would be the best way to go about it. I would be in favor of some kind of evaluation process until we had to immediately say, yes, this person's staying, no, this person's going. But the way you evaluate it, how have they done their job? How have they been responsible with the money that they've been given through the amounts that they've requested through the budget, which is our money, by the way. Our taxpayer money is what we're given to spend. And run their departments. Are they always coming back and asking for more? Are they, spending way more than what they should based on maybe other municipalities of our size? Do they treat their employees with respect? Do the people that work for them respect them? I think those are all things that should probably factor a little bit into the evaluation process in those key jobs. How you go about it is annual, I think, performance evaluations. Institutions and organizations that I've been a part of, that's always been something that was done every year, maybe sometimes even every 6 months. You have a set of criteria that you're hired on, and as soon as you're hired, you have goals that you're supposed to reach, and then you're brought back in, you're set down 6 months or a year later, and you're evaluated based on that criteria and those goals. How are you performing? Did you reach this goal? If you didn't, why didn't you? Was it something that we did and not providing you the tools to succeed, or was it some shortcoming that you had in your ability to perform? I think those are very smart ways to go about it. Those are very fair ways to go about it. You set the expectations. You let people know on the front end exactly what those expectations are, how many times they're going to be given. Of course, mistakes happen, like I've said. Now, is it something that costs the city millions of dollars? You probably want to be say that's a major mistake, and you might have to go. Certain things maybe you have a little more leeway with, but like I said, you have an evaluation process, you stick to it, you be consistent. I think that's the biggest thing, consistency, because you have to be very careful about the kind of work environment you're creating for these positions. The Valley City has the reputation of bringing people in and not giving them the tools that they need to succeed. And what does that do to their employability down the road? Are we going to be a place that people want to come and further their career? I would like to think that Alexander City is a place that we, as a government, as a place to come and work, a municipality, I would like to think that we would be a place that people could come, grow, develop professionally, succeed and excel, either in this role or one in the future in some other city or place that they go to work. So evaluation, holding people accountable to that evaluation, setting goals, and being consistent with the way that you treat people, I think is central in kind of the HR, human resources side of things. Mr. Bland, we appreciate it.
Great answer.
Okay, while you're up, since you were talking about human resources, let's hit that question. What actions, if any, will you support to promote diversity in government hiring, activities in the community and communication, and also outreach and sponsorships for whatever you may have a part in as a representative for the community?
So we'll start with the first one, that's diversity within jobs in the city. Well, I think it's pretty simple. You have to have equal hiring practices and make sure that you're evaluating everyone based on the same criteria. We've got to be equal in what we do with everything, whether that's hiring, whether that's promoting, whether that's dismissing. I think there's probably some guidelines that the city has to abide by, probably some equal employment opportunity standards that are basic among probably all governments or governmental organizations that you have to stick to. So making sure that we're in accordance with all of those diversity regulations would obviously be first, because that's in accordance with law. But if you have some situations internally that you can control through some hiring practices that you implement yourself, I always am in favor of hiring committees. When I was at the University of Alabama, I got the chance to hire and be a part of hiring lots of different positions around the admissions office and some other departments at the university. And we always put together diverse groups of people to interview, to screen applicants, and to make suggestions for the hiring process, so that there was input into the hiring process coming from lots of different areas, and it wasn't just this kind of I'm not sure what the term is I'm looking for, but it wasn't just this inbred sort of promotion or hiring. It was very inclusive rather than exclusive. So I think that's something you could do from the hiring side. In terms of outreach for events, you're making sure that things that you're doing cater to wide ranges of interests and hobbies, and whether it's a concert in Strand Park that you might have, that might bring out a different group of people. You want to make sure that you're going to offer something that's suitable and entertaining for the entire city, not just consistently one group of people. So You know, diversity is something I look at as being, no doubt important, but I think it's just basically what's right to do.
Okay.
Diversity for me would be making sure we're recruiting equally, just as Jacob said. You have to recruit equally to make sure you get. Now, I'm not going to tell you need to hire anybody because of their skin color. Just as you don't need to not hire somebody because of their skin color. That's just not right. But we need to make sure that we are offering those positions to everybody so that everybody has an opportunity to apply for those jobs. If there is a person who is qualified and they apply, we should not be pushing them out the way because of their skin color or their lack of skin color. So we need to just make sure we're doing things that are fair and above board. In everything that we do in the city. Diversity is very important because once you do become a member of this community, you notice that some things are not proportionate from one community to another. We need to make sure that everybody's on the same level and try to bring everybody else up to that level. There's so many things I feel like we can offer people that we don't at the moment that may help to move that way. A lot of people, like I say, are just not engaged. I come from a family of people who have always been engaged in not only in not city government, but in public displays, what's going on, what's happening, how do you get involved? And so I know that from me. But a lot of people that are in my community don't understand that it's your right to go to city council meeting and be a part of it. And those things we need to start saying to them. Go to city council, come to the meeting, or go apply for that job. A lot of times some of us don't apply because we feel like we're not going to get the position because of our skin color. So diversity is very important to me, and I think that at the moment, for me, Alexander City is not diverse because when you go somewhere and the majority of the people you see are one color, we're not diverse. That's just the fact of life. If I go to Medicare Brand and everybody I see over there is Caucasian, and I come to Cooper and everybody I see over here is African American, then we're not diverse. We're not meeting at the table somewhere along the way. The only thing I can say is start engaging, inviting, being more proactive people. Somebody said, well, you place it on Facebook. Everybody's not on Facebook. A lot of people in my community don't even have computers or don't know how to use it. So we've got to start being that person, myself included, saying, hey, come on, I need you to come over here with me and see what's going on. So we just got to start engaging people and trying to make them feel like they're a part of Alexander City. Thank you.
Thank you. Last question. Surely you didn't think this was going to be easy, did you? All right. If today you were on the council, what process should we expect for you to use in order to make a decision? Can you kind of tell us what your decision-making process would be and what steps you should take?
For me, my decision-making process would be simple. Start off with reading the decision that they're asking me to make. Making sure I know the ins and outs of what we're looking at, why we're looking at it, is it needed, what will it bring to Alex City, what will it take away from Alexander City. So making sure you know on the front side what you're actually looking at. If you don't understand what you're voting on, why would you vote? Making sure that the things that the issues that they have in front of me, I understand it, I've read it, I know what it means. If I have questions, ask those questions so I can get an understanding. And then make a decision based on that. For me, the process is simple. Read, understand, then go from there. Thank you.
Yes, well, any decision that you are making for the city, for the residents of the city, you have to evaluate how that's going to impact the people of the city, and you're representing a specific district. So obviously, I think it would be first pretty important to understand what the implications are of that decision on the people that you are elected to represent. So that's probably one of the key things that I would consider. Obviously, researching what it's about. How has it worked in other communities where a piece of legislation or an ordinance or a policy has been put into place? Look at similar situations in other communities to see how it's worked. What are the pros, what are the cons? You weigh those. You talk to people that you trust and that you lean on for advice who maybe have experienced that or who have been a part of a decision on something of that topic. And I think it's just, weighing what the implications are and what's best for the city. I know we are elected as District 2, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever representatives. Overall, we are a governing body of the entire city of Alexander City, and ultimately we have to do what's best for the entire city. So I think there's a lot of different factors that can go into that, depending on what type of legislation or ordinance or policy or program or amendment to the budget or some monetary award that you're giving to a kids group. I don't know what it is, but there could be many hundreds of things that you're going to vote on. And the factors that go into making decisions for those things are all going to probably be different, but you have to have a similar way that you use to evaluate, is it going to be what's best for the city? So ultimately, that's what I would ask.
Thank you. If there's no other questions from the floor, which I only received one, what we're going to do at this time, first of all, great job for both of you, and I think District 2. I feel that District 2 would be well represented with either of the two of you. So good luck the rest of your campaign trail here. And at the same time, as I said 4 years ago, we were in the same shoes. And whatever you say you're going to do, don't just say it just to get elected. Do what you say you're going to do. That's the only thing that people actually do. That's the only thing that people actually do. So in saying that, you're going to use your last 3 minutes to pitch yourself, to sell yourself. Ms. Colvin, you're first. And Mr. Meacham, end it up.
First of all, thank y'all for doing this. Thank all y'all for coming out. Jacob, thank you for running a great race so far. I wish you luck the rest of the way. I'm ready to be done though. I am Buffy, and I'm running for City Council District 2. I'm not making any promises because guess what? I have only one vote. My promise is that I will be Buffy. I will be fair. I will be transparent. And I will make sure that you know what is going on in your city. I will do all I can to stand up for the citizens of District 2. I'm not trying to be anybody else. I'm not trying to represent anybody else. I'm trying to represent the citizens of District 2. Whether you be the low person, the high person, the middle person, wherever you think you fall, that is my only goal, to represent District 2, to be the voice of the people of District 2. I can't make you a promise. I can't have you road paved tomorrow, but I can promise you I will be fair in all of my decisions. I will be transparent, and I will try my very best to make sure that I am accessible to you whenever you need me, so that I can do what I can to make Alexander City the place you want to call home. Thank you.
Well, thank you guys again for coming tonight. Thank you guys for hosting, and thank you both for also running a good, clean race. I've touched on it a few times, not only tonight, but the first time that we went through this when we were introducing ourselves to the community over at CACC. Alexander City needs new leaders. We need change. We need new vision. And we need people who can actually do it and not just say it. If you look at the experience that I've had in the year and 2 months that I've been back home in Alexander City, I have helped make legitimate progress, and I will continue to help make legitimate progress, not just for the people that live on my street in District 2, but everybody who lives in District 2 and everybody in Alexander City. I said it last month when we did this the first time. My issues don't stop at the end of my street, Lafayette Street. My issues don't stop at the end of District 2. The issues that face Alexander City are real and present all over town. District 2, District 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6, they're everywhere. So together, I think we can start addressing some of these problems, correcting some of the things that we've done wrong, that we know we've done wrong, and start making some real strides in reestablishing ourselves as a great place to live, work, go to school, raise a family. Those are the things that everybody wants out of life, right? It doesn't matter what your differences are, what district you live in, what street you live on, where you grew up. what you look like. Everybody wants the same thing out of life. Everybody wants the same thing out of their local government. Everybody wants the same thing out of their elected officials. And I would pledge to give everyone the same thing: hard work, honesty, and dedication, making Alexander City a great place to call home. Thank you very much.
Once again, great job. Now, that concludes this portion of it. At this time, our sponsor for tonight's event, the ones who brought all this together for us, we're going to bring him up and let him do his closing statements. Good evening.
First of all, let me just say, one of the main points that I tried to do this year for election season was to get the residents more information about their candidates. Online, we've had Centrist of Alabama and Alexander City Promise, and as much information as we could possibly put out there, we put out there so that people had an opportunity to be educated about where the different candidates stand. We've done a lot of interviews, we've done a lot of live streams, giving information, and we've done a lot to try and get people out to vote. But tonight, I want to say thank you to these two because they've always been out trying to help get information and communicate to the people. We're here tonight because this is the community that they represent, and we wanted to do something in District 2. So thank you to Buffy and to Jacob for that. The other thing is, I have to thank Jeff Kirk, who I don't even have a clue half of what this electronic stuff does, but he volunteered to put it all together and we kind of experimented together. What you don't know is that we've been live streaming the entire event, and there are a lot of people that are watching from their homes. I think a couple of them even told me that they were watching from a baseball game or whatever is going on tonight. So they're getting the information they're wanting to know. The other thing is, and he's with Wise Point, and he's helped me with putting a lot of these events on. Mike Ransaw volunteered to keep us straight tonight, so I appreciate that. And my wife has been kind of putting up with me doing these in the evening, so the Blood Plan, I appreciate that. So Ms. Sneed has helped me kind of make sure that the questions and everything was online, and we had the right information and formulating the questions. So if you don't do anything else, the one thing that I wanted to say is get educated about your candidates. We have 3 different races going on: Mayor, District 1, and District 2. Make sure that you go out to vote. If you're in District 1 and District 2, you have 2 choices as far as you got to do mayor and your council person. But if you're in the other districts, you only have 1, which is mayor. So let's make sure that we make the decision that is for your best interest, not for somebody else's, but your best interest. Well, if there's nothing else, I'm from the old school. You start with a prayer and you end with a prayer. So I'm going to ask Mike Ransaw to do a quick prayer, and then we'll be dismissed.
Let us pray.
Our Heavenly Father, we come before you once again at the end of another successful event that you allowed us to have. Father, we ask that you go with each and every one of us as we leave this place. But Father, let us know as we go here from today, no matter what has been said and what has been done, Father, let us know and let us all go out and worship you first and show that you are the reason for everything that takes place and that has taken place here tonight. Father, we ask that you be with each and every person that's here represented, be with their family members also. Keep them safe throughout these years and throughout these times. Now, oh Lord, we ask as we go into the voting polls, we do as Mr. Bland has already told us, do what's best for that community. And whatever is best for that community, have them to go to you first, oh Lord, and has the guidance from you to do what's right. Father, we ask once again that you watch over us, protect us, and that you guide us and lead us in that right direction. In Jesus Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Thank you.
Great job, y'all. Both of you.
And thank you. Enjoy.